All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Hmm.
We love to dig into these fascinating topics.
Absolutely.
And this one I think is going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah.
So, as you know, our listeners send us stuff all the time, articles,
Yeah.
links. They want to get our take on it. And today's is a really interesting one.
Yeah.
You sent this over to me, and I have to admit, even I was kind of blown away when I saw the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
So we are talking about a huge gold discovery in China.
Yeah. Massive.
Absolutely massive.
Potentially one of the largest.
I mean, just the implications of this are astounding. So let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So for our listeners, this is based on a news article that you sent over.
Hmm.
And basically it's saying that in the Wangu goldfield in Pingjiang County,
Okay.
they have found a gold deposit that's estimated to hold over 1,000 tons of gold reserves,
Wow.
worth potentially $83 billion.
Billion with a B.
With a B, yes.
Wow. That's more than some countries.
I know, it's unbelievable.
Entire GDPs.
So what struck me
Yeah.
was not just the size,
Yeah.
but also where they found it.
Yeah.
This is 12 miles beneath the surface.
That's deep.
I mean, that is deep. And I mean, that just kind of makes you think, what else is down there?
Exactly. It's kind of like we're just scratching the surface of what the Earth holds.
Yeah, and so, obviously this has huge economic implications.
Absolutely.
Because China's already the world's leading gold producer.
They are about 10% of the global output right now.
Exactly.
As it stands.
And so you add this on top of it, and it really makes you wonder how this is going to affect the global markets.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about supply and demand, right?
Exactly.
If the supply potentially increases dramatically, what happens to the price?
Yeah, could this mean we're all going to have cheaper gold?
Maybe.
Right? I mean, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know.
Well, it depends, right? I mean, for some industries, if they can get cheaper gold, that's great. But for the folks who are, maybe investing in gold as a safe haven asset, or for the mining companies,
Right.
it's going to have negative consequences. So, yeah, it's a ripple effect. It's hard to say exactly what'll happen.
Yeah, and the article also mentioned this in the context of, like, the current trade war between China and the U.S.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And it kind of made me think, like, does this give China more leverage?
It's tempting to think that way, right? But trade is complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just about who has the most of something. There's
Right.
all sorts of other factors, political, economic, all these different things.
It's like a chess game.
It is, yeah.
It's a very high-stakes chess game.
It's absolutely. But there was one thing in this article that I thought was super interesting.
Okay.
They compared this discovery to Africa,
Okay.
which we all think of as like, this continent with all these incredible mineral resources.
It is, yeah. I mean, historically,
So much has come out of Africa.
but they're basically saying even Africa can't compare to the scale of this discovery.
That's really interesting because it makes you think, are we just looking in the wrong places?
Yeah.
What if these massive deposits are, hidden all over the world in places we haven't even thought to look?
Right.
Maybe our assumptions about resource distribution are just completely wrong.
So basically, I mean, it sounds like this discovery is kind of turning everything on its head.
It really is. I mean, it has implications for the economy, for geopolitics, for our understanding of the Earth itself.
Yeah, and it's a good reminder that, like, we're still learning.
Always.
We're still making new discoveries.
Yeah, the planet is full of surprises.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess the big question is this going to spark, like, a new gold rush?
Oh, that's a good question.
Are
we going to see countries and companies rushing to find the next big deposit?
Exactly.
I don't know. That's for our listeners to think about.
Yeah, that's something to ponder for sure.
It is.
Well, this has been another great deep dive, I think.
It has.
Lots to think about, lots to consider.
Absolute.
So, as always, thanks for joining us, and we will. See you next time.
See you then.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Ready for another deep dive.
Always ready.
Today, we are digging into something pretty big, something shiny, something that has the potential to, like, really shake things up globally.
Definitely shiny.
We're talking about the biggest gold discovery ever, and guess where?
I think we all know where.
China. We've got an excerpt from a recent breaking news article all about it. And let me tell you, this isn't just about some lucky strike. This is way bigger.
Way bigger.
We're talking potential shifts in global power, economics, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, this discovery is kind of a big deal. It's over 1,000 tons of gold reserves just sitting there.
Whoa. Okay, so back up a sec. For those of us who maybe haven't been following China's trajectory super closely, like paint the
Yeah.
picture.
Well, China's been on the rise. That's no secret, right? I mean, for decades, they've been growing rapidly, economically speaking. They're a powerhouse when it comes to manufacturing.
Oh yeah, we all know about Made in China.
Exactly. And it's not just that. They're making huge leaps in technology, too. And then there are all those global infrastructure projects they're investing in.
Oh, you mean like the Belt and Road Initiative? That's the one where they're like building roads and railways and stuff all across Asia and Africa and Europe.
Exactly, connecting China to over 70 countries. I mean, it's huge, really ambitious stuff. But there are some speed bumps along the way, right? China's got its fair share of challenges, too, like geopolitical tensions are running pretty high with some other countries.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
And then internally, they're dealing with environmental concerns, which is a biggie these days.
Sustainability is kind of a big deal for everyone right now.
It is. It's a global issue. And then you've got things like China's aging population and a real estate market that's, well, it's been a little rocky lately.
Okay, so we've got this picture of China. It's this rising power, but it's got its problems too. So enter this massive gold discovery. Does this, like, solve all their problems?
Yeah. Well, it's not a magic solution, but it definitely changes things, you see. Gold is like this safety net for a country's economy.
How so?
Well, it's a real tangible asset, right? It holds its value, especially when things are uncertain, like in a global crisis or something.
Makes sense.
So with this discovery, China's gold reserves are going to skyrocket, and that could make their currency, the yuan, look a lot more stable and attractive.
Okay, so more people might start wanting to use the yuan.
Exactly, especially for international transactions. Like right now, the US dollar, that's kind of the king of the global currencies.
This is what everyone wants to use, right?
Pretty much. But, China, with this massive gold backing behind their currency, they could start to challenge that, offer a real alternative.
Wow, so China's basically sitting on a potential gold mine, both literally and figuratively.
You got it. Think about it. More gold reserves equals more leverage in global negotiations.
Ooh, I like that, leverage.
And more influence over those big international financial institutions like the International Monetary Fund. And they could even start to really influence how global commodity prices are set.
Okay, so they'd have a lot more power in the global market.
For sure. And let's not forget, China's already the world's leading gold producer.
Oh, that's right. So this just solidifies their dominance even more.
Exactly. It's a big win for them on multiple fronts.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential upside for China's economy and their global standing, but let's go back to those environmental concerns you mentioned. Like, how is this massive mining operation going to impact the environment?
That is the big question, isn't it? I mean, large-scale mining, there are always environmental costs. You're talking about habitat disruption, the potential for pollution. It's a whole can of worms.
Yeah, those are serious issues.
They are, and China's going to have to walk a very fine line here, balancing those economic benefits of all this gold with the environmental impact the world's watching.
And they're getting more and more conscious of these issues every day.
That's right. Sustainability is a huge deal now. So if China doesn't handle this carefully, it could really damage their global reputation.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in.
It is. And then there's another layer to this whole thing, the global reaction. Other countries, they might not be too thrilled about China having control over this much gold.
Oh, why is that? I mean, it's their gold, right?
Yeah, but imagine this. Global demand for gold goes up. Suddenly, China, with their massive reserves, they can basically dictate prices. They could even, I don't know, restrict supply.
That would be good.
Not for everyone else. It could lead to this thing called resource nationalism.
Resource what now?
Resource nationalism, it's basically when countries start being super protective of their own resources and they get less willing to cooperate, on trade and stuff.
Oh, I see. So like everyone for themselves kind of thing.
Yeah, it can create a lot of tension and distrust on the global stage.
So this gold rush, it's not all sunshine and roses. It sounds like it could actually stir up some international trouble.
It's a real possibility, and here's another thing. You can't just build a strong, lasting economy on a pile of gold.
What do you mean?
I mean, yeah, it's a huge asset, but China needs to keep innovating, diversifying their economy to stay competitive, in the long run.
So this isn't a guaranteed win forever.
Nothing is guaranteed in this world, especially when it comes to global economics. It's a complex game.
It sounds like it. This gold discovery, it's a game changer for sure. But how it all plays out, well, that's still a mystery.
It is. We're just at the beginning of this story. The long-term consequences, we'll have to wait and see how they unfold.
You've given us a lot to think about, but before we go, I want to leave our listeners with a question.
Oh, I love a good question.
Imagine you're leading another major world power. How would you react to all this? China is sitting on this golden opportunity. What moves would you make to protect your own interests, your economy, and navigate this new world order? It's a big one to ponder.
It is. I guess we'll all have to watch and see how this unfolds.
Until next time, keep digging.
Always.